Hi, I'm Asmi. I help you harness the power of energy to improve your life. Today, I wanted to talk to you about energy healing. What is it? Is it real? Spoiler alert, I definitely think it's real. We'll talk a little bit about different kinds of energy healing modalities, how I'm practicing the ones I am, what modern science has to say about it, and a few key reasons why energy healing may or may not be working for you. So, with that, let's get started. First of all, is energy healing real? Now, if you're skeptical, that's perfectly okay. I welcome critical thinking, but I ask you to keep an open mind. For me, I grew up in a Gujarati Jain household. I'd always heard about, chakras and ancient yogis, and I always believed in a higher power and something else. But I'll be honest, I thought that a lot of those teachings have kind of disappeared. They were hidden, they were gone. And I didn't really see energy healing as something that was accessible to me in terms of, going to someone who's a healer. Now, people do go to like Vedic astrologers, you might go to temples, but not really just going to someone and getting energy healing. That wasn't something I was aware of in terms of my family or extended family. I also didn't really think it was something that I could ever learn. It just seemed kind of out there. But I'm happy to say that energy healing is real. It has transformed my life, so much so now that I'm practicing a couple of modalities myself, and I've actually experimented with many more than just the ones I practice. So, what does modern science have to say about it? What I want to say here first and foremost is that modern science is really emerging and catching up when it comes to talking about energy healing. Part of this has to do with the fact that it's really hard to actually get research dollars for a lot of studies for energy healing. So this is not to say that energy healing isn't effective. It just hasn't been studied in clinical settings and peer-reviewed, trials and things like that as much as other forms of Western medicine. But there is emerging science and it's very, very promising. So a few resources if you're interested in learning more about this. One is a book called Healing Ourselves by Dr. Shamini Jain. In there, she actually talks about various different studies that have been done showing the efficacy of energy healing and how it's above and beyond a placebo effect. There's also Dr. Joe Dispenza, who talks significantly about healing, meditation, the body, different kinds of things. And so those are two of the, I think, most famous people. There's also Bruce Lipton. And then there's also emerging places like the Shift Network, which actually conduct different kinds of trainings. They also bring on different kinds of speakers who are writing books, who are conducting research. So there's a lot going on in this emerging area, and it's really exciting. Scientists are now using the term biofield therapies to actually have an umbrella term for energy healing because there are so many different modalities. And while they might not be studying each and every one significantly and thoroughly, what they are noticing is that there are many different kinds of interventions that can be done with the energy body that produce positive results. And one more point before we move on to the next subject is that science often takes time to catch up to what a lot of ancient wisdom has known. And a few examples of this is, we have changed our eating habits so much as a country here in America. There were 3 square meals a day for so many years. Now there is this idea of intermittent fasting, multi-day fasting. All ancient traditions, or most ancient traditions, I should say, did have fasting. In fact, I'm Jain. We love doing intermittent fast. We love doing long water fast. And now there's science to back it up. But these things have been actually practiced for hundreds, if not thousands of years before. One of the beauty trends lately is hair oiling. Well, hair oiling has been around in India for, again, like many, many years. I grew up oiling my hair as a kid with my mom. I still do it. We're now seeing it as trendy, but 30, 40 years ago, it was not mainstream. It was not something that people really outside the Indian community did. And then a last one here is turmeric. We now see turmeric everywhere. We see golden milk. We see golden this, golden that. Turmeric was not as well known of an ingredient maybe 20, 30 years ago, and now we see it everywhere. So while science and trends may take time to catch up, ancient wisdom has been there for a really long time. And when we don't have science, we can actually use our own experience as well as critical thinking to see if we think something is real or not. And what do I mean by that? Instead of just being an armchair expert and sitting on the side, go and experience energy healing. Try it. Now, I will say here that you do have to do research. You do have to find a reliable and worthy practitioner, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. I have definitely found them, and I'm sure you can too. And I invite you to actually experience energy healing because once you experience it, you might have a different perspective than if you're just trying to analyze it and think, well, can really somebody affect somebody else when they're not touching their physical body? Yes, in fact, they can even do that through meditation. And there have been studies such as the Maharishi effect, where just groups of people meditating together can change the amount of crime in a local community. And so we know that there is something there beyond just our physical bodies that is connecting all of us together. Now, if we think about how do we view the human body? In the modern landscape, the body is viewed as a mechanical object, but it's actually an electromagnetic field. So our brain has a ton of neurological or electrical activity, and our heart actually has a magnetic field. And so together we have an entire EMF field that we are radiating that can be actually measured outside our physical body. This would actually be our aura and our chakras. And again, science is catching up and starting to be able to measure and quantify and validate these things, but they have been around as long as humans have been around. Another thing I want to talk about with energy healing is a lot of times people are skeptical and they think, well, does it work or not? Can you guarantee an outcome? Here's the truth. No health practitioner you work with, Western medicine, or alternative therapies such as energy healing can guarantee an outcome. Nobody knows that. And the reason is there's so many different things that can happen, right? Even when you take Western medicine, when they prescribe you something, they're prescribing you something based on a probabilistic outcome that you are likely to get better, right? And this probabilistic outcome is based on clinical trials, on tons of research, but they don't actually know how something is going to interact with your body, the conditions of your body, any sensitivities, proclivities that you may have. And with Western medicine, there can often be a lot of side effects, right? And so this is not to discourage Western medicine. I think it definitely has its place. I go to my PCP every year. I do take medications for certain things. I really see energy healing as another tool in my toolbox. And that's what I'm inviting you to do today, is to actually see energy healing as what could it actually do for me? And so yes, an energy healing practitioner cannot guarantee an outcome, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It doesn't mean that it doesn't have benefit for you. In fact, no, like I said, nobody can guarantee an outcome. So what is energy healing? So I spoke about it a little bit before, but essentially energy healing is going to be working with your energy body. So it's going to be working on a more subtle level to try to balance and shift your energy, which will then manifest into physical improvements, right? And this could also be mental and emotional, talking about chronic stress, sleep issues, depression, anxiety. It can also help with chronic pain. It can also help with just general wellness. A lot of us in modern day have activated nervous systems that are on all the time, and it can be really hard for us to downshift into relaxation and activate our parasympathetic nervous system. This is where something like energy healing can help tremendously. It can help you actually just like relax so that your body can heal itself as well. When we are in a flight, fight, or freeze mode, our body is not healing. Our body is ready to go and be on the run. It's pumping adrenaline, it's pumping cortisol. It's not actually in rest and digest, which is where the body calms down, slows down, and heals itself. Different energy healing modalities work in different ways, but they're all doing the same thing, which is working on the energy body. Now, I have experimented and experienced many different forms of energy healing. They include, I have gone and gotten a shamanic limpia done in Ecuador. I have gotten magnet healing done. I have done bee therapy. I've, of course, done sound healing and pranic healing, which are the two modalities that I practice. I've also received Reiki. I've done NLP. I have done breath work. I have done hypnotherapy. So as you can see, I've tried a lot of different things. And the ones I practice are the ones that resonated with the most with me. Now, why is it that you may resonate with one energy healing modality more than another? Well, we're all different, right? So even though we are all physical bodies, we have different flavors, if you will. And this can be described in different traditions in different ways. In Ayurveda, which is the science of longevity in India, it is the sister science to yoga, there are three main doshas. There's Vata, Pitta, Kapha. And based on your dosha, you have certain tendencies and certain things that need to be balanced. And so everyone is given actually different things to balance their body. And so in that way, we might not all resonate the same with an energy healing modality, because one may work better for us than another one because of our system and kind of how we're designed. Now, another way you could think about this is in theosophy, there are the seven spiritual rays of light. So there are different kind of like personalities between light, love, and power, which are the most predominant. And based on that, again, you might be more receptive to one form of energy healing or another. Another way you could think about this is zodiac or astrology. Ancient Chinese have astrology. Ancient Greeks had astrology. Indians have Vedic astrology. I'm sure there are more that I'm not aware of. But what is astrology? When you are born, that season, that time, has a certain imprint. And we all react to different things because we have a different reaction or a different relationship with the planets. And so all of this to say that we're not all going to experience the same thing in the same way. And so you might find one energy healing modality more effective than another, and that's perfectly fine. I invite you to explore and see how you feel, see which ones are most resonant with you, and then you can go and work with them. Now, before you tell me that you've tried energy healing and it doesn't work, I do want to say one thing, which is that energy healing is subtle. You might not, after one session, have this like big aha and feel completely different. I know the first few times I got energy healing done, I didn't feel much of anything. And I was curious, does it work? How can I tell? The healer's telling me something, but I'm not quite feeling it. And that's actually pretty normal. And the reason is this. All of us are really used to our physical body, the physical world, things that are tangible that we can touch, feel, hold. Most of us are not really tuned into energy. Energy is much more subtle. It's like going and you've been, grabbing a bunch of like big rocks or heavy gravel, and suddenly someone gives you a couple of grains of sand. Are you going to feel it? You're probably not going to notice it the first time. But if you keep doing it and becoming more sensitive, you'll start feeling it. The other thing is this. If you've never had energy healing done before, imagine how many things your body has accumulated over the span of your life. And this doesn't mean that you've had to have, something like terrible happen to you in order for you to have accumulated what I call like energetic residue or energy blocks. We all have it. There's chronic stress, like I was talking about before, which just modern lifestyles breed, right? I don't think anyone can be fully immune to it. There's environmental stress. There could be generational stress or generational trauma. And then there could be the things that actually happen to us in life. You live long enough, all of us are going to have one or two big challenges, no matter who we are or where we live. And so all of that accumulates in our energy body. And so the first time you go, think of the analogy of, you roamed around the jungle for like 7 years and you come out and someone pours like a bucket of water. It's not going to fully clean you, right? Like the amount of water was not in proportion to the amount of things that had accumulated. Think of energy healing like that a little bit too. You're working in layers. And so the first time you go, you'll go and you'll work on that outer layer. You may not feel anything. If you keep doing it, you'll remove more and more and you'll see the shifts. Now, at times you may have those big aha moments. I've had a few of them myself. And more often than not, it can be subtle, but eventually you'll start noticing it as you do it more, as you get more tuned in. So how can you start working with energy healing? There's lots of different ways. And here I'm going to use kind of the analogy of fitness. So one is to kind of like DIY, right? Figure it out yourself. You could maybe watch some like free YouTube videos, do some things. You could breathe deeply on your own. Things like that. There's definitely ways to do it on a budget. That's kind of like working out on your own. You're not going to have any expert guidance. You can definitely get some results. How good is it going to be? How good is it going to be is going to vary person to person. Lots of different kinds of variables there. Another could be going to a group class, like a group sound bath, like going to a group fitness class, right? Here you're getting a little bit more instruction. You are in a curated setting and you're getting a little bit more benefit than if you were just doing it by yourself. And then the final is getting one-on-one energy healing. So this is like working out with a personal trainer, right? They're working one-on-one with you. Their entire energy is focused on you. And it's going to be a lot more curated to you, your needs, and help you work through your exact challenges. So that's a little bit about energy healing. Let me know what questions I missed. If I did, please put them in the comments and I'll be sure to answer as best as I can based on my own personal experience. About me, I have, like I said, received and experienced many different kinds of energy healing. I have been practicing sound healing since 2018. I've been practicing pranic healing since 2020, and both of them have completely transformed my life. I also use them both at different times for different things. So like kind of as I was saying in terms of specialization, I do this a little bit more intuitively where I will feel something come up and then I will decide whether I want to do sound healing on myself. And I've got a variety of instruments and each of those instruments do different things, or if I want to do a pranic healing protocol on myself. Either way, I think it is actually one of the reasons I'm able to manage so many things, be reasonably calm and successful at work, and it is something that has completely transformed my life. I can't tell you how much I use it on a daily basis. And I'm sharing this video because I want more people to find the magic of energy healing, to believe that it's real, and to know that it can actually change their lives.